In the name of God, the Merciful, the Compassionate, Your Royal Highness, Your Highnesses, Excellencies, may the peace of God be upon you all. At the outset, I would like to salute you all, and I would like to extend my thanks to Mr. Jassim Al-Bdawi, the General Secretary of the GCC, Mr. Charles Michel, the President of the European Council, for their continuous efforts to prepare this summit. This summit takes place. It is the first such summit while Qatar is presiding the GCC. This summit is the fulfillment of our efforts during the past years. It is the proof that we are both sides keen to promote cooperation and coordination between us, and to promote channels of contact between all our countries, be it on the GCC side or the EU side. The GCC member states and the EU member states have historic relationships, and they all are based on mutual interest and on agreement on the importance of respecting the principles of the international law and the non-interference of internal affairs of other countries, but also are based on common prosperity. We started this in 2022 as well, when we appointed a special coordinator for the relationship between the EU and the GCC, and we are keen to promote all our fields of cooperation, be it regional or international. We are keen on investing on international trade, on exchange of expertise, on innovation, on combating climate change, on protecting the environment, and on promoting the economy. Our EU-GCC partnership is very promising. We reached and exceeded $204 billion in 2022, representing approximately 13% of GCC's total trade in goods. The value of GCC's export to the EU reached $106.3 or $177 billion in 2022, and direct investments from the EU in the GCC has increased extensively from 2017, reaching $233 billion in 2022. And of course, we need to reinforce this cooperation and to put in place, if needed, new ways to increase this cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know how security and political challenges are big, especially in the Middle East and in the framework of in the aftermath of the war in the Middle East, in Gaza and Ukraine, and in other places in the world. It is therefore very important to promote the relationship between the GCC and the EU. We hope that this would contribute to promote the principles of justice and international legitimacy, far from any double standards which undermine collective security, upon which the whole international community has agreed as the basis for peace and security in the world. We would like in this context to thank the EU for their efforts in preserving peace and security in the world, and all their efforts in order to find peaceful solutions to the current crisis, and in order to promote international economy and all growth efforts in all parts of the world. The issues facing the Middle East are very important to the EU, and the same goes for your issues in our region. We are interdependent geographically, economically, and culturally. The destructive war that was waged by Israel until today on Palestine and on Lebanon, which made war crimes as something normal, is something that we cannot accept. We need a settlement for these conflicts. We need to find solution to the Palestinian cause on the basis of the international legitimacy, on the basis of the borders of 1967, and we need to establish a sovereign and independent Palestinian state side by side with the Israeli state. We call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and Lebanon. And also, we call upon Israel to withdraw their forces from the West Bank. And we would like here to thank the EU and the US for their efforts to bring about ceasefire. In Qatar, we believe that ceasefire would be the first step before a serious round of dialogue and negotiations in order to make possible for a definitive solution to the Palestinian cause in accordance with the Arab Peace Initiative and international legitimacy. It is important also to note the seriousness of crimes perpetrated by Israel against civilians. And we call for the EU to play a major role in order to bring together the whole world for the two-state solution. This has to be done in an irreversible way in order to make possible a sovereign and independent Palestinian state on the basis of the 1967 borders. We here would like to thank all those countries that recognized the Palestinian statehood, and we call upon all the others to follow suit. We also condemn the war that kills civilians in Lebanon and all those attacks perpetrated against the UNIFIL forces. It is a flagrant violation of the international law, and we call upon all belligerents to cease fire immediately and to implement Resolution 1701 of the United Nations Security Council. As far as the Ukraine-Russia war is concerned, the GCC position is based on international law principles and the Charter of the United Nations, which preserves the sovereignty of states, their territorial integrity, and the non-interference in internal affairs of states. The GCC supports all brokers that try to find a peaceful settlement to this conflict. Now, talking about illegal migration, we would like to increase our cooperation in combating illegal migration. And we need to increase also our cooperation in combating major natural disasters, but also human-made disasters like genocide, poverty, and other conflicts. We hope that this first summit will be the first step to consolidate our historic ties between the GCC and the EU, to promote more relationships to come on the political, economic, and cultural sides. I'd like to thank you all and all those who took part in preparing this summit. We would like to bring about peace for everyone, and may the peace of God be upon you all. Thank you.